bullied and dumped on. We gon' leave you beat up, bullied and dumped on. We said we only rock with Mavericks. If you a clone, then step off the canvas, lest you get beat up, bullied and dumped on. We gon' leave you beat up, bullied and dumped on. We said we only rock with Mavericks. If you a clone, then step off the canvas.
Hello and welcome to the Season 20 premiere of The Box Score. I am your host, Noah Berkowitz, and wow, is it great to be back. It's really a special time for us as a show, too. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. Yeah, that's right, 10 years of The Box Score. And to make it fun each episode, we've got some exclusive clips from hosts of seasons gone by. So stay tuned for some legends of the show talking about what it was like then and how they see The Box Score now. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The WNBA season may be over, but the drama is just beginning. Stars of the league seem to be in a face-off with Commissioner Cathy Engelbert and a potential lockout on the horizon. Joining me to break it all down is Cam, Veal, Olivia, Holub, and Camila Mancur. Cam, why don't you get us started?
Well, first of all, I want to say happy birthday, Box Score, 10 years. One thing I don't want to see is 10 more years of Cathy in charge of the WNBA. Because it's just insane to me that we are 17 days away from the new CBA negotiation deadline, and still nothing has come out. And we have players like Sophie Cunningham talking about a lockout. We have Napheesa Collier coming out and making these statements. Cathy responding, and as Satu Sabli said, no comment because that's all she gave on what was happening in the league. And I think the crux of the matter is the players versus Cathy, which shouldn't really be happening when you're the commissioner of the league.
Right.
And Cathy's kind of representing the shareholders more than the players right now, which is a bad look overall for the W. We've seen unprecedented growth in the league. They just signed a new streaming deal worth $3 billion of valuation, $200 million per year for however long that is. I'm not good at math. And all what the players want is just a piece of that pie.
Right.
But for some reason, that is egregious to Cathy and the shareholders, which it doesn't really seem like it's a good deal for anyone, especially when you have leagues like Unrivaled, where the players are getting paid a lot more than they are in the W. So I don't really know what the future is going to look like for the players or the league at all.
Well, so that was what I was going to bring up as well, is obviously the lockout threat is looming, but on top of that, we still have Unrivaled in the background, offering salaries that are more competitive than that of the WNBA. And when the commissioner of the league is talking bad about arguably the league's biggest star behind closed doors, never a good look.
Yeah, like this is her league, and she should not be talking bad about her players. Her players are standing up and speaking about an issue that they feel is extreme. And these players need to get paid. And to come out and basically go against them is insane. Those are
right.
You have to back your
You're
own
working
players.
as a
This is
team.
your league.
She's burning bridges.
And it's not like they're
100%.
asking for something extreme. They deserve more compensation, and they're asking for better officiating because so many injuries have gone down because of this officiating. And I just think it's insane for her to go against the league, because she wouldn't have this job if it weren't for these players.
Right, and
100%.
yeah, and I mentioned that too, the officiating, another huge problem. We saw that earlier in the year with Caitlin Clark, obviously, who she was ragging on. Caitlin Clark being hazed all throughout her rookie and sophomore years, obviously before she got injured and fell out for the rest of the season. The hazing was a big problem, where there was an entire slew of support for Caitlin Clark to have some form of protection. And I feel like you're going to talk a little bit about that.
I want to talk about that because I think it's just crazy that you have all these players coming in from college basketball that have so much coverage in the media, and you don't take advantage of that.
Yes.
And you're hating on them, you're hazing them. Caitlin Clark is looked upon by so many young girls, and they became fans of the WNBA and college basketball because of her, and they're not taking advantage of the opportunity that's right there in front of them.
Right, exactly. You have this opportunity. Women's college basketball is on the rise. Women's professional basketball is on the rise. The WNBA has an extremely important role to play in the growth of women's basketball.
But it's just, what really gets me is that Cathy doesn't market her players effectively. Aside from Caitlin Clark coming into the league and having this much hype, you have such talented players that have been in the league for so long. You have Asia Wilson, who is arguably, we'll talk about this more, who's arguably the face of the WNBA and one of the best players of all time, and you just don't hear that so much. I feel like Nike is doing better at marketing Asia Wilson than the actual league is. You have Nafisa Collier. Paige Beckers didn't get as much hype as Caitlin Clark, and she played more than her. And I'll talk about this. I think she's a better player, but whatever. And like the issues that the league faces are so minuscule in the ways that you could solve them. And I just feel like I don't know what Kathy's game here is, but I feel like she's just trying to alienate her players more already, and nothing good is going to come out of that. And as a women's basketball fan, it hurts to think about the fact that there could not be a WNBA season next year just because of something that should have been like solved many, many months ago.
Well, I appreciate both of you guys. The MLB playoffs are here as well, though, in full swing, which means there's been a bunch of exciting moments. But what about the losers? We're going to head over to the Triple Monitor, where our correspondent Daniel O'Toole is ready to dive into why each team that lost in the AL and NLDS came up short. Danny?
Thank you, Noah. I'm glad to be here and to make my rookie debut. As a Red Sox fan, it makes me so happy to say this, that the Yankees lose. There were a lot of problems for the Yankees this series. I think the biggest one is they just kept pitching to Vladdy. The kid has been on fire, absolutely el fuego. He had the monster home run in game 1, and then the grand slam in game 2. Masterpiece. I don't understand how you just don't intentionally walk him at some point. The kid has just been absolutely dominating the Yankees pitching, and there are just a lot of defensive mistakes by the Yankees too. Judge had a little bit of a fumble in game 2. And Jazz easily could have turned 2 in game 4, but he missed the ball, runners scored, and it's just the simple mistakes for the Yankees. That's what the problem was all season. Another top contender that I even had making to the World Series was the Phillies. You spend $250 million for the top of your lineup to go 2 for 21 with 11 strikeouts in the first 2 games. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, they got to do better than that. And Schwarber has been absolutely insane this year. And he proved that in game 3. He went 2 for 4 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 1 walk. That was the only game that the Phillies won. You can't be just banking on your entire top of the lineup to get you through these games. That's not how you win postseason games. That's not how the Phillies made it to the World Series back in 2022. But a lot of fans, and a lot of Phillies fans that I know, were asking for the head of Rob Thompson. And I'd agree. He made a lot of questionable mistakes. In game 1, you're putting in a struggling David Robertson, who ended up loading the bases up, getting 2 runners on, and Teoscar Hernandez hit an absolute bomb into right field to take the game 5-3. In game 2, there was the sack bunt by Stott. You had a Nick Castellanos on second base, and he turns 2 with a sack. But I think the worst one for me was in that crucial game 4, you intentionally walked Shohei Ohtani. Now, yes, I understand Shohei Ohtani is an MVP candidate, but he was 1 for 18 in the series. You put another MVP up there, and yes, that's the problem with the Dodgers. You put Mookie Betts up there. He's had a great stretch. He was struggling at the beginning of the season, but you put Mookie Betts up there, he got the walk, he ended up getting the run to score, and yes, there was the error by the pitcher late in the game, but I don't think that was ultimately what did the Phillies in.
Well, Danny, I do want to ask you, because obviously I feel like the Dodgers at this point of the year, obviously the favorite. I feel like everyone is the favorite, they have been the favorite from the very beginning. At what point are we saying the Dodgers are just too good for everybody?
See, the Dodgers did win the World Series last year, but you still have these teams in the regular season who are putting up great numbers. The Brewers ended up taking the number 1 seed. And yes, when it comes to the postseason, they have the guys who have produced, but we really haven't seen a lot of teams dominate like we have in the past historically with the Dodgers and teams going back to back. There's just been so much parity. The last team that we've really had a true dynasty was pretty much the early 2010s Giants when they were winning every other year.
I mean, listen, I understand, but I do also question, I mean, you talk about the Yankees pitching so much to Vladdy, but again, what are you meant to do in that situation?
I think you just got to try to play to the other players. No disrespect to George Springer, who he's also been playing great. Nathan Luke's had a great series. But I think with players that are just that hot in the playoffs, like Vladdy, it's not uncommon to give someone the Barry Bonds treatment. And it is late in the game, and you are intentionally walking them because that's just the smarter decision as a manager. Yes, Toronto's got other great players, but you just can't pitch to Vladdy when he's tearing you up like that.
Listen, Danny, of course, I get it. I'm a Yankee fan myself, and it was a tough watch. But thank you again, Daniel. Have fun watching the Red Sox in Cancun or in spring training. Keep waiting for that schedule. Regardless, NFL head coaches already feeling the pressure. Here with me to discuss whether a coach's seat should be hot or not is Zack Jewell, Daniel O'Toole, Titus Graves, and Everest Leach. Now, Zack, we're going to start with you. Mike McDaniel down in Miami, is that seat hot or not?
Thanks, Noah. I mean, the Mike McDaniel hot seat is hotter than any other coach in the league.
You think it's the hottest seat in the league?
100%. Wow. Through 4 seasons so far, he's 29-29. He's praised for his offense, 26th in offensive yards this year. And I didn't even mention, he's 3-15 versus teams with winning records. You can't win playoff games if you can't beat teams that win.
I mean, I get that, but I mean, you look at the Dolphins' actual roster. There's not much to work with.
I mean,
They don't got the players, bro.
I mean, I think you got to look at it as the offensive weapons are there. I know Tyreek Hill went down with an injury. Mike McDaniels and Chris Greer, they like to say Tua is the future. They like to say he's the franchise quarterback. If he is, then you got to produce with what you have. You know, you have Jalen Waddle still, even with Tyreek gone. The secondary is the problem. I understand that. I think Mike McDaniels understands that. What can't happen is you can't go up with 45 seconds left versus the Chargers up 1, and your defense turns into Swiss cheese.
Yeah, but Mike McDaniels is basically a glorified offensive coordinator. You got to give him a little slack for that.
I would give him slack. The Miami Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in the 21st century. I can't give anyone slack.
Mike McDaniel, you are a Philadelphia Eagle.
Oh, God, and you know what? That is the most Howie Roseman. That is a decision I can't let happen. Because where does he go? Then the team is blessed with one of the best coordinators in the league.
100%. Yep. I think he would be a top 5 offensive coordinator as soon as he hits the market. It's just I don't think he's fitted as a head coach, but we'll see.
All right. I'll take you on your word for that. We might circle back. Danny, who do you have on the hot seat?
You know, coming into today, I would have said Brian Daboll's seat was right up there with Mike McDaniel.
Okay. I see where you're going.
But then you come in, Thursday night football, prime time, lights are on, and you beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's like
Don't show Everest right now.
the way that I'm talking about it. It's like Daboll just went to the mechanics and he just got his AC recharged.
There we
That
go.
seat's a lot
Did he have
cooler.
to do it against my team? I mean, come on.
If you want to keep your job, you got to win those
Dude,
divisional games. You got to
Jackson
win those
Dart
prime
and
time games.
Cam Scatterboo looked like Peyton Manning and Edgar and James out
That was
there.
the first
You know what the
time.
problem is you're only going to get Edgerrin James for 1 season and until that CTE kicks in.
Yeah.
Because genuinely, did you hear what his mom said? His mom said that when he was younger, he would put on his older brother's pads and run straight into light poles.
Yep.
It makes a lot of sense.
Hey, but
Him and Tua will be in
running
the
into
nursing
all
home
those
together.
light poles, he's on 4 yards of carry. He's on 14 attempts. And that monster game he just had against the Eagles, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was their first Thursday Night Football win since 2015, and their first win against the Eagles in primetime since guess when? 2008, Week 8. Final score 36-31.
Dang.
Can I ask you something, though? If we see another Giants losing season, is Daboll gone?
I think if they can turn out a game or a season that they're winning 6 games, 5 games, the tradition for the Giants
He's
these
been
couple
there
of
years.
He's been
Yeah, but
there like
that's
five
one of
He
the
hasn't
better
won a
say,
playoff
dude.
game since his first year. Yeah, I get it. He won a playoff
You
game,
got
coach of the year, whatever.
You got rookie playmakers right
Yeah, but
now.
you-
You have
at
to
what
understand
point-
the situation with Dart. Dart, I think if he can pick up, he's been winning. He's been playing pretty solid football. Yes, he's a rookie, but you're beating teams like the Chargers and the Eagles right now. They don't have the easiest schedule, but you have games against the Bears, the Broncos, who didn't really look that great against the Jets, but you have that game against the Bears. That'll be a very competitive game for them.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I think my parents, who are Giants fans, are going to really appreciate that one. Everest, I want to move on to you. Who do you have on the hot seat or the not seat?
I'm going to keep this quick, and I'm going to ruffle some feathers. John Harbaugh also needs to fly. Needs to fly. No.
No.
Hear me out.
Blame him. He doesn't
Guys,
Wow.
listen.
Okay.
It's been 12 years since his last Super Bowl appearance. You have to take a risk when you have a literal superhuman at your quarterback position.
Who's injured?
Lamar Jackson is amazing.
Who's injured?
Has been injured, but he hasn't been injured in all of their playoff runs, and Harbaugh hasn't gotten it done. You can put a lot of that on Lamar. They're not getting rid of Lamar. So you've got to take a risk. You've got to change something up, because at what point does the process of, oh, we know Harbaugh's a good coach. Oh, the Ravens have injuries. At what point do results outweigh that process?
Okay, so
because
here,
we say every year this team should win the Super Bowl.
I'm going to give
or
you a
can't,
quick
and
counter,
they
though.
don't.
Obviously, you've got teams like the Chiefs in the AFC. They've made the Super Bowl a bajillion times over
Yeah,
the past
but
10 years. However, you look at a guy in the same division. Take Mike Tomlin, for example. He pumps out consistent 9-8 seasons for his entire career. No one's calling for Mike Tomlin's head.
I might be calling for him too, but we're not talking
That's
about
crazy.
Mike Tomlin
I
right
don't
now.
think
We're
that's-
talking
you can
about
only
John
go. You
Harbaugh.
can only go 9
Listen,
and 8
I
so
wanna-
many times
Listen,
before you
right.
really have to
Danny,
sit down with
right.
your
9
with
and
your
8 is
41-year-old
Let's let Titus
quarterback.
talk about his hot or not seat, though.
Yeah. So listen, guys. I mean, kind of same division here. Ravens 1-5. But
There
I
we
got
go.
Zach Taylor. You know, Cincinnati
Bengals?
They're 2-4. You know, they're just not a good team anymore. I feel like this is really Joe Burrow's team. If
Yeah.
y'all really think about it, Zach Taylor only relies on Joe Burrow. You understand that Joe Burrow only wanted T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to get paid. The Cincinnati Bengals were trying to figure out if they wanted to pay him. But they listened to Joe Burrow as their franchise quarterback that has been injured, and I really hope he gets better. And I just want to see him succeed. But I just think Zach Taylor, it's time to pack it up. You can't just rely on Joe
Hey,
Burrow.
let's get
so
some turnover
let's get
in the
him
AFC North.
unemployed.
I think
Let's
we're
get
gonna
some
be
AFC North turnover. John
yeah.
Harbaugh.
Goodness.
Zach Taylor.
But
We're
listen,
going to be looking back at that 2021 draft class decision to pass on all-pro tackle
Penei
Sinead
Sewell.
Poole.
you're right.
Penei Sewell,
you're right.
Penei Sewell, you switched the letters, but I appreciate the sentiment.
So I just got one more thing. You know, Joe Flacco, they just got him. I actually don't think they did bad against the Packers. He is a veteran, and I also am curious to see how he does against the Steelers. They call it an Unk Fest with those quarterbacks out there.
Schedule isn't getting any easier.
Fest.
Yeah, but when you think about it,
That's what they call this panel, because I'm older than all of you. They call it an Unk Fest.
but when you think about it, I just think it's Joe Burrow's team, and I just think, Zach, it's time to pack it up, bro.
Listen, I appreciate all you guys. Great points. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. We're going to head to our first quick commercial break, but make sure you look out for a message from the founder of the box score, Harris Rubenstein. And when we come back, we'll give you an update on Mark Sanchez. And later, we've got the return of a fan favorite segment. Stay tuned.
What's going on, Box Score crew? It's Harris Rubenstein. Was asked to make an alumni video, so let's get right into it. How did you first start on the Box Score? Well, I actually created the Box Score. I was the founding host and creator of the show alongside my fellow EP, Tom Little, with help from my old friend Jack Ross and my now wife Mariah Terry. We were able to make the best sports show at Emerson for students at Emerson that like sports. At the time, the only real sports shows that we had were Unsportsmanlike Conduct and then WEBN Sports. And as great as those shows were, we wanted to create something that was a little bit more modern and it was a little bit more kind of what the flavor of sports media was in 2016 and 2017. So we created the Box Score with Harris Rubenstein, and the rest is history.
Hey there, gamers! Were you recently woken up from an 100-year nap?
And don't panic about this, but
It smells pretty recent.
Good morning, Emerson. Good morning, Emerson. Good morning, Emerson.
Thanks for waking up with us.
They engage in their community. They are part of their community. They reflect their community.
Lots of history you can learn in here.
Pear! Daisy! Oh, I'm so happy to see you!
Let's paint.
Welcome to the Rundown.
Welcome back to the season 20 premiere of The Box Score. Now, on October 4th, former New York Jets quarterback and Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez was arrested at an Indianapolis hospital after an altercation that led to Sanchez being stabbed. Now, with me to discuss the situation and some new updates is Zack. Zack, tell us what's going on.
So, on Sunday, Mark Sanchez was released from prison. He faces felony battery charges along with several misdemeanors.
Right.
Now, the dispute happened over a parking spot.
Right.
Which seems like a lot to, go to the hospital for after some injuries. Mark Sanchez went into the truck driver's parking spot and went into the truck and proceeded to tackle him. The truck driver then pepper sprayed him.
Right.
And Mark Sanchez got a knife out and stabbed him.
Well, Mark Sanchez was stabbed.
Well, actually, the truck driver was also stabbed.
Right.
Basically, just during the altercation, a lot of tackling going on. Mark Sanchez clipped both him and the truck driver. Basically, just not a great look.
No. And then, what did Mark Sanchez? Do you know what Mark Sanchez has been saying lately? Or
he came out saying that he doesn't really want to talk that much. He just really wants to see his family. Obviously, him with Fox, that's over. So we'll see what happens from here.
I mean, I thought it was really interesting. As soon as it happened, there was a slew of like tweets and posts saying like prayers for Mark Sanchez, and he was such a great guy, and it was just really interesting to see how quickly this story like kind of unraveled.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting to see the media's perspective go from all these prayers for Mark Sanchez, stuff like that, when in reality he began the dispute.
Right.
And it's tragic to see on both ends. I hope both of them get healthy. But we're going to be seeing probably some severe punishment for Mark Sanchez.
I mean, what do you think could come? Obviously, we have the potential felonies, the misdemeanors. Is there anything else that's up in the air? I mean, obviously, you were talking about Fox.
I mean, yeah, I assume that there's going to be fallout with Fox to a greater extent than what's already happened. We'll see what happens in terms of facing, time in jail, but it's all up in the air right now.
Yeah. I mean, and then looking forward, is there anything going forward that you think is going to happen, could happen?
I think once both the truck driver and Mark Sanchez fully recover from their injuries, we'll see more statements and from the truck driver and his family, along with Mark Sanchez. I think there's going to be a time where he's going to have to break the silence and actually talk about what happened.
And a trial.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, thank you. We're going to make sure to keep an eye on that situation. Heading back to the diamond, the MVP race could not be tighter. Yankee superstar Aaron Judge and Mariners home run machine Cal Raleigh are neck and neck. The choice is basically a coin flip, but with me at the triple to give their 2 cents are once again Camila Mancur and Daniel O'Toole. Camila, tell me about Aaron Judge.
Thank you, Noah. For the MLB MVP race, I'm going to start with Aaron Judge. I'm going to start by prefacing, I think this is an MVP award. It's not a best player award. So in my opinion, Judge is way more valuable to the Yankees than Raleigh is to the Mariners. Why? The Yankees are really bad without Aaron Judge. If he's not producing on offense, their defense and their pitching is not doing anything at all. I mean, you just gave up 10 runs to the Blue Jays, 13 runs in the second game. You just got eliminated 3-1. Without your offense, the defense is not doing anything. Pitching's not doing anything. And even though Raleigh might have more home runs, he might have better stats than Judge. It is who is more valuable to their team. And I think that is what Judge is. I think there's a lot of people that are saying that Raleigh should win the award just because he's a catcher. And I don't think he deserves it just because of that. So that's my 2 cents on the matter.
Timeout. I'm not going to sit here and stand for the catcher disrespect. Now, I also want to point out one little quick thing right here.
Yeah, go for it.
Raleigh did play 159 games. But when you really want to break that down, that's not just 159 games with all those at-bats. That's 159 games in front of the plate and behind the plate.
Right.
And this man isn't just playing your average catcher defense. He is a Platinum Glove winner, best defender in the American League last season. And yet again, he's been putting up great defensive numbers. This year, he had an 87 grade on Baseball Savant. He allowed no passed balls this year. And if we just also want to talk about the scope of how amazing Cal Raleigh's season was, with his homers, broke not only Seattle's record, but broke the records by a switch hitter and a catcher, and notched 3rd most in American League history. The man that he passed for Seattle's record, Ken Griffey Jr. Name anybody who's doing it like Cal Raleigh has this season.
I don't know. And I think it's just Judge fatigue. I think people don't want to give it to Judge because they're tired of talking about Aaron Judge.
I wanted to talk about that fatigue a little bit too. There hasn't been a back-to-back MVP within the same league. Yes, we can talk about Shohei Ohtani from 23 and 24, but in the same league, the last time that happened was 2012 and 2013, Miguel Cabrera. And the last catcher to win MVP, 2012 Buster Posey. And you're looking at their numbers, very, very, very similar.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see who it goes to.
If it was my vote, I'm going with the big dumper.
No, that's my vote.
Camila, Danny, thank you. Now, in more WNBA news, the Las Vegas Aces have won their 3rd title in 4 years. And now, while the conversation about dynasty is interesting, what's even more intriguing is the legacy of MVP A'ja Wilson. Now, joining me to talk about the possibility of including Wilson in the GOAT conversation is Cam, Veal, and Olivia Holub. Now, Cam, let's explain the greatness of A'ja.
Thanks, Noah. I just want to start off with a 1 and a 2 and a 3. What does that spell? W. What's the first letter? WNBA. What does W stand for? Woman. A'ja Wilson is the woman. She is GOAT. She is her. Let me just list off some of her accolades. 7-time All-Star, 4-time MVP, back to back to back to back.
Okay.
3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time scoring champ, 3-time WNBA champ, and she has had a 7-year career.
Yeah.
And in the past 4 years, she has won 3 championships. I think we have to talk about it. I think she's a top 5 player in WNBA history, and she's not 5 and she's not 4. I will say that. I think if she retired today, if she decided to pack it up with Bam and move wherever they wanted to, I don't really know where.
Bam.
You know, he's the husband and boyfriend of the year. But if she retired today, I think she is a top 3 WNBA player of all time.
Who's ahead of her? DT?
DT and Maya Moore. I think Maya Moore.
Those are the only 2.
I think so, because I think Maya Moore was technically the best basketball player the W has seen, and DT had an insane career, amazing longevity, and was putting up amazing numbers like that. And for A'ja Wilson, she and Maya Moore, as of right now, have the same amount of career years. Maya Moore has won 1 more championship, and A'ja has won 2 more MVPs. While I think that Maya Moore is technically a better basketball player, A'ja Wilson has dominated this league in an era where the scoring is more prolific, and I think she is the Aces. It's the A'ja dynasty. It's not the Aces dynasty.
Right. And then I want to hear your take on this because, I mean, there's a lot of hot takes coming from this side of the desk.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If she were to retire today, she'd be one of the greatest. I do think she's a top 5 player. Now, I'm kind of like, I don't know who my 4 is, but I know I got DT, I got Maya Moore. I would throw Sue Bird in there, maybe Stewie, but then you also got Candace Parker. Like, there's so many GOATs.
Cheryl Miller?
Yeah,
Cheryl Miller.
Lisa
But
Leslie.
she never got to play in the dub, though.
Like,
she's a top women's basketball player of all time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She's one of the greatest women's basketball players ever.
Yeah.
She's one of the reasons for the W.
Yeah.
That is true. She's a trailblazer.
I just think A'ja is definitely one of the GOATs. I don't know. I mean, it's not even early in her career, but there's just so many there. But I think this year, this finals just really solidified the type of player she is and that she will be up there. Putting up numbers, MVP, 3 championships in 4 years. Like,
she's gonna end up with a 5th MVP, maybe even 6 or 7.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
That's unbelievable.
I think who's going to challenge her right now?
That's what I'm saying. Like, those are like Bill Russell type numbers.
But
we're getting
like
Bill Russell type numbers in the year 2025.
Yeah.
Well, because if you think about it, the WNBA is in that era where you're gonna have like big names like A'ja, and we're getting into I saw someone on Twitter say that we're in the 60s of the WNBA right now.
Well, think about how young the W is.
Exactly. The W is young, and you're getting like Paige, Caitlin, Juju's coming into the league. Angel. You're getting into like your.
We're in those transition
Shaqs.
years.
Yeah.
Listen, I think you guys are both making good points. I think that we're creating these legends of the game in the WNBA, and I think A'ja Wilson. At the end of it all, might go down as number 1, not just number 2 or number 3.
So.
All right, Cam, Olivia, thank you guys very much. Now, from one rising dynasty to another that may be crumbling, the Kansas City Chiefs have found themselves in a sticky situation to start the season. Many fans and pundits alike have begun to ponder whether this may be the beginning of the end. I'm joined once again by Zack, Jewel, Titus Graves, and Everest Leach to discuss whether the Chiefs' window is closed. Zack?
You know, honestly, I think the Chiefs dynasty is getting to a close.
Yes.
I think we're seeing Kelsey take a step back.
Funeral. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
You're saying it's dead too?
Yes, bro. Keep going, Zach. Keep going.
I truly think that the Broncos and Chargers are going to be the deciding factor if the dynasty is over.
I agree.
Right now, the Chiefs sit at 3rd in their division. The AFC is looking a little weak, so I understand where people might say that the Chiefs can make another run. However, we're seeing the Chargers and Broncos take those steps and become the better teams in that division.
Yeah.
You think the Broncos are better than the Kansas City Chiefs?
At this moment.
You think the Chargers with their injuries are better than the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes, Justin Herbert may be an MVP
Let me ask you guys.
candidate
Let me
right
ask you
now.
guys
If
a
you really
question.
think about it, it's going crazy
Ask it.
right
Let's
now.
hear it. Let's hear it.
I gotta
I'm
ask you guys a
listening.
question.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, because I can't believe we're doing this again. Who is beating a Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid team in the playoffs, in the AFC playoffs right now?
I don't know if they're going to make it that far.
I got your answer.
They're
I got
3
your
and
answer.
3.
The Chiefs themselves. They struggle, bro. You got to think, bro. They're hurting themselves. You got Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift guy. He can't even catch the ball, bro. He's too focused on the ring that's about to be on his finger, but he can't think what's in his hands, bro.
People act like the sky's falling. People act like this has never happened before. 2021, the Chiefs started 1-2. They then started 3-4. They made the AFC Championship game. In 2023, at one point, they were only 9-6. That's not up to their usual standard of excellence. Guess what happened that year? They won the Super Bowl. So people act like, oh, their record isn't as good as it usually is. This has happened before. They find a way. You still have Mahomes and Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes is top 7 in touchdowns and passing yards right now. That's good numbers.
Okay, I agree, but you mentioned Patrick Mahomes and you mentioned the Super Bowl, but you got to think, this is a team sport, bro. Like, this is the NFL. This is not golf. This is not tennis. Like, this is a team sport. You need those other players to step up. Patrick Mahomes is doing what he got to do, bro.
I understand that, but what I'm saying.
But that's not it. That's
what
not
I'm
it.
saying, Titus.
They got other weeks to go, bro. Patrick Mahomes can't do it.
I mean, all this Patrick Mahomes stuff, Patrick Mahomes this, Patrick.
He's 17-4 in the playoffs, by the way. That's pretty good.
I don't know if
they'll make it there, though. That's what I mean.
I don't know if they'll make it that far.
They're gonna make it.
There's a huge possibility.
Everybody else in the conference is struggling. It's not like all
Not
the
in the division.
contenders
The Jaguars.
are great.
That is
The
true.
Jaguars just lost.
Yeah. So, and
they lost to the Jaguars.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is everybody's record is comparable right now, other than the Colts.
You know, Everest, I see.
You also have to worry about, as Zach mentioned, those Chargers. They got to mention about the Denver
Injury.
Broncos.
Joe Alt comes back.
That's in their
Their
division.
injuries.
That's in their division. You got to.
I'm just done betting against them, guys.
You got to think about that.
Coming from an Eagles fan is very crazy, too.
I respect my competition because we beat them.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That is solid.
I mean, you beat them, but at what point
Here's
is
the
like
thing.
you keep beating them?
You guys are saying the dynasty is dead. The Chiefs season last year would be the best season for the Josh Allen era, the Lamar Jackson era, maybe not the Joe Burrow era, that one's arguable, but like they made it to the Super Bowl, and now everyone's like, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Because this is the weakest they've been.
100%. If they don't make the
They're
playoffs
getting
this
Rasheed
year,
Rice
I
back
think it's
this
over.
week, and the passing attack has been better than it's been in 2 years.
Yeah, and you need those players to step
When
up.
they're back in the
Patrick Mahomes
AFC
can't do it by
Championship,
himself.
you guys can remember this moment. Right?
I mean, and I'm not here to pick Everest. I'm not picking on you.
No, of course.
But when you watch plays like Chris Jones the other night, where he's walking.
No effort.
No effort. He's doing the Ashton Genty stance, but he's a D tackle in the middle of a play.
That was 2 weeks ago. I know this last week they beat the Detroit Lions, who before that game everybody was saying maybe the best team in the league.
I don't.
Yes, I agree.
They
But
walked the floor with them.
yes, that is the Lions. The Lions kind of punched themselves in there, but you got to think of the end of this season. We'll see where the Chiefs stand, but I just don't think they're just not going to.
Hey, I would love for it to be over as much as the next guy. I'm not a fan of dynasties. I just like to.
Unless it's the Eagles?
Well, yeah, we could be a dynasty.
Eagles
I'd be happy with
dynasty.
that.
I don't know what we're saying there.
I don't know about that one. Listen, I appreciate you guys. We're going to head to another quick commercial break, but stay tuned for an interview with a former NFL kicker, Joe Nedney, and later, the return of contenders or pretenders. We'll be right back.
How did hosting the box score help you in your career? Really, it taught me that I can do whatever I put my mind to. You know, I took so much away from it from a confidence point of view, from a creative point of view, you know, what I can do when surrounded by other talented people. It was a really eye-opening moment for me, knowing that I was creative enough to make something like that, and also to see something that has survived for so long, a real point of pride for me to see that the box score is still going.
All right, come back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera one. Camera one, you to wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take it. Talent cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a shot of the players coming across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails
Camera 2, close up on the person shooting.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this thing.
Camera 1 going to close up, follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
How has box score changed since you left? Well, I think it's become more and more modern. You know, the reason that we created it was so that graduating classes after us would be able to make it in the image of sports media that it is now. I mean, back when we did it, it was far more, how do I put it? It was far more rant and long-winded, these kind of longer sports segments that we wanted to do that were a little bit more creative, a little bit more insightful. Nowadays, it's far more hard-hitting. You guys are doing a lot faster segments as well, a lot more lightning round stuff. We were really experimenting, and I feel like nowadays the box score has a much more precise chemistry than what we were dealing with back when we made the first 8 to 10 episodes.
Welcome back to the box score, and thank you, Harris. The world of F1 is always fast-paced, and this season is no exception. Now, as the season reaches its climax, the drama does too, with both McLaren drivers gunning for the title, but Red Bull's Max Verstappen right in the rearview mirror. At the Triple to talk about the Papaya duo and what could happen in the final stretch of the season is Cam Veal and Camila Mancur. Cam, come get us started.
Thank you so much, Noah. As we head into the last 6 races of this F1 season, I'm getting a little bit of deja vu. What is this, 2007? 2 McLaren drivers fighting for the top spot. And I gotta say, it's a bit of an interesting race because we see Oscar Piastri, you see right here, he's got 336 points, and Lando's right behind with 22 less. But the preference with the team strategies, you saw it in Singapore where they almost collided and they almost crashed out. I'm just wondering what the team is thinking, what Papaya rules is. What do you think, Camila?
I don't know. I think the situation is very dire at McLaren currently. I think the whole thing that just came out with Zack Brown talking about these accusations about how he's being accused that he didn't want Oscar Piastri in the team, and he already had these accusations that he heavily favored Lando. I think if this keeps getting worse, I think Max has a chance to catch up. I don't know about you.
I 100% agree because I don't know what Zack Brown is saying, people. He said once that Papaya rules was just race hard, race clean, and don't touch. But I'm seeing a little bit more of touching between the cars recently, especially with the strategies. It kind of seems to me that Lando is getting a bit more preferential treatment, maybe not so much as in race position, but with the strategies. We saw in Hungary of this year, Lando was like barking orders at his team lead to literally to let Oscar pit first, and Oscar had an incredible pit stop and undercut Lando completely. And then Lando said it wasn't fair, and they switched, and he ended up winning the race. And you see that Oscar was getting he said like, it's okay, guys, it's okay for the team, but that was earlier in the summer, and now we're here in October where there's so few races left, or so many races left, and so few points left up for grabs. And Max Verstappen is a ruthless driver. Like, if anything happens, if they crash in Austin at this race, or if like Oscar crashes out or Lando crashes out, he will pounce and he will grab those points back.
I 100% agree. That's all it takes. All it takes is a DNF, especially if they crash into each other. It's over. Like, he absolutely has a chance to catch up. It's only a 63-point difference between Oscar and Max, and anything can happen. If Max wins the next few races, I think we very much have a title race in our hands.
Oh, 100%. And also, I feel like Lando, he's a good driver, but he makes more mistakes than Oscar. And if it so happens to be that Lando crashes out or into Oscar, and that's why they lose points, I could see tensions bubbling over, especially because McLaren had set that precedent of last year where they were favoring Lando because he was higher in the championship. And now because they have the constructors locked up, what is the strategy going to be from now on? Are they going to be more aggressive? Are they going to let them race? Or are they going to prioritize getting Lando caught up to take points away from Max? Or are they going to try and let Oscar claim the championship that I think he should have had locked in before, that was sort of like pushed a little bit to the side due to constructors? But I really worry for Oscar's future at McLaren because of this, because you saw them celebrating the Constructors' Championship without him.
That
and
was
you gotta wonder how that feels to be the one leading the championship, being the most consistent of the drivers, and you're not invited up to the podium to celebrate with them.
That image was crazy to me. Just seeing him see them on the television, that's crazy, especially because Lando consistently gets opportunities. He gets on pole a lot, and when he's on pole, he never wins.
He never converts.
And Oscar can start at second, third. He always catches up, and he's always the one who's consistent. So I don't think it's fair for McLaren to be heavily favoring Lando when it's clear that Oscar is a better driver by now.
I think he's more consistent. He's faster.
Yep.
I could never be an F1 driver because I would be getting so mad.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Oscar hasn't become. People on Twitter are always he's getting his villain arc. I hope so.
I
really hope he does.
He really needs to.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm a Lando hater. I said it.
I think I have my days where I hate him and I'm like, wow, you're so immature. And then I'm days where okay, I kind of like you. So I don't know.
Oh God, I just feel like he's too cocky and he's not that guy.
True.
These two guys right here, Max and Oscar, they're not gonna whine or
100%.
complain. They're gonna win. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's really between those two. It will honestly shock me to my core if Lando can scoop up the championship from either of them.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. He's way too inconsistent for that.
I agree. Anyway, Noah, back to you.
All right, everybody, I am joined by former NFL kicker Joe Nedney. Joe, thank you for joining us. Just to give a little background on you, went to San Jose State, 62-yarder. Is that still the school record there?
It was 60 yards, and yes, actually it is.
All right, so still got your name up in the record books.
I'll take 62. Believe me, it's all right.
I think the Wikipedia says 62, but I gotta hand it to you. Then obviously undrafted rookie, found your way to the Dolphins, bounced around the league a little bit, found your way in 05 to the Niners, and then found a little bit of your forever home there for the rest of your career before ending up calling it a day in 2011. Thank you for joining us on the show. I just want to ask, what's it like, being in the league, being a kicker? It's one of those hero or zero positions.
It's a mental, emotional, physical kind of thing. I think it's similar to being a closing pitcher. When we're out there, all eyes are on us, and there's points involved. It's a pivotal point. You could be a non-factor or the deciding factor in any game that you play in. So, knowing that and going into the professional ranks playing that position, you kind of know what stage you're going into. But I don't think anything can really prepare you until you get put out on that stage, and it's under the lights and it's in front of the media and all that.
Yeah.
It was quite a ride.
Father Time remains undefeated, whether you're the GOAT or you're riding the bench. But it does sound like a career to aspire to, ending up being the all-time leading scorer in college, and then when you made it to the pros, your longest field goal in the pros was in the mid-50s range. Nowadays, that is like a chip shot for many guys. I bring up Brandon Aubrey. That guy is hitting 60-plus yards every game, and it's pretty much automatic to him. How do you think the game has evolved from when you were in the league to now and the expectations placed on kickers?
The interesting part about the kicking position, when I got into the NFL, it was 1995, and the NFL had just moved the kickoff spot from the 35-yard line back to the 30 because the thought was that the play was too boring. There were too many touchbacks, not enough returns. So the league backed it up to allow for returns. But what that did was place kickers didn't have really strong legs back then. They were, predominantly soccer players, little smaller guys. And teams were willing to sacrifice a roster spot just to carry a kickoff specialist at the time. And it was this niche position in the NFL. And I ended up kind of coming into the league right as that position started to open up. So it gave me a window into the NFL. And I was considered one of the strong-legged place kickers. And you said, my longest in the NFL was 56 yards. And not until recently are you starting to see, the majority of players now are making 55-plus yard field goals and almost making, like you said, look routine. So the strength of the field goal kicker, I believe, has definitely changed, but the position itself has become so much more specialized. We were, as place kickers back then, we were relied upon to do the kickoffs, which also meant you had to run down the field and cover. If I'm looking at the kickoff position and the play of kickoff now, leg strength, hang time, these things were big-time attributes for place kickers entering the NFL in the mid to late 90s. Now, hang time and distance on a kickoff means absolutely nothing. You're trying to pinpoint, dink and dunk and drop a ball here and there and trying to disrupt a return that's already kind of slowed down and become a much more technical play. So these kickers, not as much the kickoff anymore. It's more the strength of the field goal. And maybe that's helping these guys with their strength, is that they're not taking as much out of themselves doing these full strength kickoffs anymore. They're able to use that strength on the field goal swing. Whatever it is, it's definitely changed since when I got in the league. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you're leading me perfectly into this last question I've got for you. What do you think of this new kickoff? I mean, obviously, the kickoff over the past 2-3 seasons has changed for one reason or another. What's your opinion on it? Do you think it's mitigating injuries? Do you think it's a net positive or a net negative?
It's tough to. I try to look at it as it is what it is. I mean, and the league's had to do something. I mean, I watched a lot of my teammates go down with career-ending or career-altering injuries on kickoffs. I mean, you've got guys that are smacking into each other full speed, guys that are going down on a full sprint and then trying to make cuts and break down at high speeds to make tackles, and guys that are coming at them just as fast. So. Right. Something did need to be done to change that play for the sake of the players. I mean, it's a high impact sport and it's a dangerous sport that we all know. But that play definitely in itself was taking guys out at a rate that just wasn't good. So I understand the fact that it needed to be changed. But what we're watching in real time is we're watching this evolution where, last year people didn't really know what to think of it. You just kind of dropped the ball down there, and it could be a touchback. If it was a touchback, then it was brought out to a certain yard line. Some teams didn't want to risk a return. This year now, the touchback is now even more of a penalty. The ball's brought out to the 40-yard line. It's a big-time penalty. So now kickers are now forced to land this ball between the 20-yard line and the goal line into the landing zone. And once it hits the ground, now it becomes a live ball and teams can cover it. So now the idea with this kicker is how can you pinpoint, locate a ball, get it to drop fast? I mean, hit a sinker or something like that. Kind of almost become a magician with the ball, try to bust out your tool belt and see how many different kinds of ways you can kick a ball to where you keep it in bounds, but you're landing it in the field of play and then giving returners a tough time to get the ball and get moving. So from a kicker standpoint, that's what I'm watching happen in real time over the past year. So you're watching these guys try new stuff. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the ball hits the ground, way before the landing zone. Sometimes it goes out of bounds, but it's definitely something that I wasn't involved in. So I'm looking at it from an old guy going, yeah, back in my day, it was a little different.
Right. You're the man on the block. You're the man outside. Get off my lawn. Back in my day, this is how we used to kick the ball. And I like what you're saying. It's almost like an onside kick now with the way that you have to be very precise with the kickoffs. But thank you again for coming on the show. Joe Netney, feel free to come on whenever you like.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Now, injuries are an unfortunate reality in every sport, and the NFL is a prime example of such. The Niners and the Bucs have learned that the hard way this season, yet they keep finding ways to win. So, what does it take to win games without your key players? With me to answer that question is Daniel O'Toole and Camila Mancur. Now, Daniel, walk us through the Bucs and how they've overcome the injury report.
Noah, I think the easiest answer is they have the MVP of the league on their team right now. Baker Mayfield has revived his career. He had an amazing season with the Bucs last year.
Yeah,
he's just playing on another level. It's clutch moment after clutch moment. And it doesn't matter who is out there catching balls for him. It could be Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Tez Johnson, Emeka Egbuka.
Who's had an unbelievable year, by the way.
Phenomenal. Amazing draft pick. That's that OSU pipeline with the wide receivers.
That's wide receiver. It's wide receiver you for sure. But I like that you bring up Baker because it is those clutch time moments. As a Jets fan myself, I had to experience that the hard way. We had the blocked field goal for the touchdown. It was during hiring weekend actually. We're screaming in the hiring room. We're going crazy, and then of course I see Baker Mayfield in 40 seconds drive down the field and crush my dreams and the opportunity for a first Jets win of the season. But that's been happening over and over and over again. Baker has been the difference maker to overcome those injuries.
He's almost become Tom Brady again. Dare I say it? But not in the whole sense.
You invoked his name.
I said the GOAT's name, but that doesn't matter. The kid has been playing absolutely amazing in the clutch right now. Baker Mayfield, he's just proving that when you have a star quarterback, you can really overcome a lot of these injuries.
Yes.
Or just having a great team and a great coach around you. I know a lot of people, especially you as a Jets fans, love to bash Todd Bowles.
No,
but
I have nothing against Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles has really been making sure that this team is staying on point.
Yes.
And that's why they're able to come out in the clutch. And they're winning games against great teams.
Yeah, QB is the most important position. Listen, I want to go over here.
Okay, so for the 49ers, they have been injured really, really badly. I just want to go through the names because this week on the injury report, we have Mac Jones out with a knee injury. CMC is resting. And then we have Ricky Pearsall, Brock Purdy, Fred Warner just got out for the season. Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Nick Bosa. How do you deal with all of these injuries? I think the answer for the 49ers is depth. If Mac Jones keeps playing decently.
It's that Kyle Shanahan system.
I was about to say, I think good coaching and good depth.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if the 49ers can keep this up, if Kyle Shanahan can keep the team together, and if Mac Jones can continue to be a decent, good enough backup for Brock Purdy, I think they can continue to be a contender.
I mean, Brock Purdy also on his way back.
Yes.
My concern, I'm going to ask you about this. My concern is that they're in a tough division. You know, they've got the Seahawks, they've got the Rams. The Rams have looked really, really good.
Yes.
Who did they beat on Thursday night, though?
Who they beat?
The Rams.
The Rams. Yeah, so
I think we're just in an era of a lot of parity. At the point that I've seen a lot of comments, we don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yes, I agree. And I think the 49ers are intentionally slept on.
Yes.
Again, I think you get 49ers fatigue.
Yeah,
They've been in it. They've been in it for a while.
Yeah.
I'd say they had their time off, but I think, yes, coming back from the injuries, good coaching, good depth, good quarterback play. Yeah.
I agree.
All right, guys, thank you. Our field team had the opportunity to speak to some of Emerson's most successful athletes at practice Tuesday night. Our correspondents Adelaide Brown and Emily Champagne take you inside of the prep for Emerson's women's volleyball team. Guys.
Hi, I'm Adelaide Brown. And I'm Emily Champagne. Today we are here with the Emerson women's volleyball team.
And we got the opportunity to interview some of the minds behind last Thursday's decisive win against St. Joseph's.
I am here with
Lily. Sophia Schiappa.
Who am I here with?
Hi, my name is Emma Luring. I'm a freshman.
My name's Molly Likes, and I'm the assistant coach for the women's volleyball team.
What does being assistant coach mean to you?
I come in and really help the team with just like a lot of skills work and making sure that everything kind of works all together as one unit rather than kind of thinking about how we go against the opponent more.
What has been one of the hardest parts about this season so far?
I think just staying motivated as we're like in the thick of our season. Like we're pretty much like in the middle of conference and, getting through those hard practices, hard lifts, like that's really been a big thing for us. But our captains have done a great job keeping us motivated.
Now, how about your strengths for this semester?
I would say we're very resilient. We've had a lot of injuries and a lot of sicknesses thus far, but we were able to work through it and rally and support each other, so yeah.
And what's your favorite part about playing on the Emerson women's volleyball team?
I really love being a part of this team. Everyone's really friendly. I've grown really tight with all the girls. My favorite part is just being a part of this new community.
And how has the team changed in the past couple years?
We've had kind of some ebb and flow of people coming in and out. This year's team's pretty young, but that's always good because it's a lot of growth opportunity and potential.
We don't have any seniors this year. It was definitely a big challenge, just kind of getting us all integrated together since we lost so many players last year, but we're super close now.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Of course.
Okay.
We have one more quick commercial break, but stay right where you are because when we come back, we're talking about Jalen Hurts and NFL contenders or pretenders. We'll be right back.
Last but certainly not least, if you could give one piece of advice to the future box score, what would it be? Don't change the soul of the show. the soul of the show at the end of the day is this is by people who love sports, for people who love sports, and also for people who want to do this professionally. Having that platform for kids at Emerson, or for students at Emerson, I should say, to get their sports broadcasting on tape and have something professional that they can show people on a reel from college is so, so huge. So keep the soul of the show. Make sure that it is still for the people that want to actually get into sports broadcasting, and obviously keep up the great work. The work ethic that's around this show is so, so important. So shout out to the Box Score crew. It's your boy Harris Rubenstein, the founder and creator of it. Love you guys. Keep the show going.
Thank you very much, Harris. Hoping to hear a lot from him soon. Welcome back to the Box Score, though. The Philadelphia Eagles are coming off of a tough loss to the New York Giants on Thursday night, and safe to say, my parents made sure that their Eagles hatred was loud and proud. Now, the loss only highlighted Philly's weaknesses, with many pointing the finger at QB Jalen Hurts and his slowish start to the year. So, joining me to talk about whether Jalen Hurts is really all he's hyped up to be is our resident Eagles fan, Everest Leach, as well as Titus Graves and Zack. Everest, I'll hand it off to you first.
Thank you, Noah. You know, it might be another cloudy, stormy, nor'eastery night here in Boston.
Okay.
But one thing that will never be cloudy, how I feel about my guy. And I honestly, fellas, I can't believe we're back here doing this thing again because it's so clear. He's a great quarterback. Has he played his best recently? No. I mean, that Giants game, 203 yards, 53% completion percentage, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions, 43 wait. No, I'm reading Justin Herbert's stat line against the Giants just weeks ago, who we're not talking about here tonight. We're not criticizing that. Oh, that's interesting. Jalen Hurts is very good. He's done a great job riding a ship that has been in turmoil.
You mean Jackson Dart looked better than him, though?
He did do that.
I like Jackson Dart. He's a good kid. Anyway, we're going to keep it moving.
Whoa, you can't just deflect.
What do you mean?
Jackson Dart was better than Jalen Hurts in prime time.
He outplayed him.
I agree. And
how are you going to say
he also was better than Justin Herbert that game? QBs have bad games. What I know is this. Jalen Hurts has made the playoffs every year he's been a starter. He has worked through 6 different offensive coordinators during his time in 6 seasons. 6 different offensive coordinators. That's insane. Nobody else deals with that.
That's true.
Because the Eagles do really well every season, and then
and why do the Eagles do well every season?
Because they have
super
Jalen Hurts,
team.
they have a really good roster.
They have a great team.
Here's the thing with that. It can't be whenever Jalen Hurts wins, oh, it's the super team. Oh, it's the players around him. And then whenever he loses, oh, look at Jalen Hurts. He needs to do better. You can't have it both ways.
And I've got a question for you before I deflect it onto everybody else. But if you were to put a guy like Drake May on the Eagles, how would we be talking about Drake May?
I think we would still be in the same boat. I think we'd be talking about Drake May worse because I think the Eagles' offensive coordinating this specific season has been so bad. I mean, Devontae Smith's route chart, it's a bunch of goes and a bunch of outs. Meanwhile, I look around the rest of the league, the Cowboys have George Pickens' route chart looking like the map of the Boston T lines. I mean, it's insane.
Okay. So, for me, I mean, I think that, even though what I heard, bro, A.J. Brown was like, bro, what meeting did we have? He was confused on, like, having a meeting with his offensive coordinator, Jalen, and Devontae. Those are the type of meetings that you need to have. The offense needs to be on the same page, and I definitely agree the offensive coordinator needs to figure out what's going on. But I just think, like, you got to have that type of tempo. You got to have that thing when you want to be tied together on having the same business decisions, man. You got to make that.
I think they found it last year when they won the Super Bowl and he was the Super Bowl MVP, which we seem to forget about pretty quickly.
I mean, I agree, but it's a new season, and you just got to do better on that.
It's a new season.
Decisions
He's made
got
the
to do
playoffs
better.
every year.
New decisions, business decisions have to do better. They got to figure out what to do.
What does Zack
They have so
That's
many
what I
weapons.
mean. Because
what does Zack
I'd like to start off with saying you can't consider yourself an elite quarterback when you have 0 passing yards in a half. It doesn't matter if you win the game. You want to talk about wins not being a quarterback stat? I'll put you there.
You know who had, by the way, you know who had more passing yards in a half? Justin Fields.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
we're talking.
We won the game, and then we play a game where he throws for 250, 300 yards, and we lose. I really don't think.
I really do think there are 8 quarterbacks in this league that would put in, if they were put into the Eagles system, would flourish and do better than Jalen Hurts.
Okay, name them.
Wow.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Baker Mayfield, and then I would go with Joe Burrow, who's injured right now, but I still think he would do better than Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
So performing when it matters most in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes doesn't matter to you because we've seen Lamar Jackson, we've seen Justin Herbert in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
I think we can put those guys on the super team of the Eagles, and they would perform, flourish,
We don't know
break
that,
records, do
All
better
I
than
hear is a
Jalen.
lot of ifs.
Oh man, it's a lot of ifs, but it's if he can throw a pass more than 5 yards down the field. If he can throw
he's
more
a great deep ball thrower.
if he can throw more than 0
A.J.
yards
Brown
and a half.
complaining all the time. I mean, deep
Listen,
ball.
it is what it is. Listen, I love the enthusiasm from me especially, but we're going to move on. New Saudi-backed flag football event will be taking place March 21st next year in Riyadh, featuring stars including, but not limited to, Tom Brady, Saquon Barkley, Sauce Gardner, and Odell Beckham Jr. Now, critics have been loud in their protests of the event, saying that this is just another example of sports washing. And here with me to discuss the event and the broader political implications are Daniel O'Toole and Cam Veal. Daniel, what's going on here?
I mean, this is a really unprecedented event that I don't think we've ever seen. This is like putting the Pro Bowl out there during the NFL season. And just look at that list of names. You have Brady, Odell, Sauce Gardner, Barkley.
Right, these are market. Like these are guys.
These are the names.
Cream, top of the level.
Yeah. My thing about this is that the Riyadh season, it's been happening for a while now, and it's funded by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which is a lot of the money comes from like telecom and oil and the royal family, and they've bought up football clubs like Newcastle. They have the Saudi Pro League. They own Al Hilal. They host F1 each year. They host WWE events, and they host UFC events. They host countless tennis events,
and they own Live Golf.
They do, and like we see all these things, and as Americans, we're like, oh my God, like they're taking over our sports, and this is like, oh my God, all of the events are going here and things like that. But I feel like there also is a double standard, and I just want to touch upon that. And I'm not saying that I agree with anything from like the Saudi Arabian government or anything like that, but the United States hosts a lot of international sporting events as well. Like we have the World Cup coming. Saudi Arabia has the World Cup coming in 2034. We hosted the Italian Super Cup in 1993, which was the first time it was abroad, and Saudi Arabia hosted it in this past year.
Yes.
What is the difference? Because personally, to me, like according to the UN, both the U.S. and Saudi Arabia are on human rights watch lists. Now, I'm not equating what's happening in either country, but is there a bit of a double standard, and has American exceptionalism caused us to view this as more of a, oh no, they're stealing our thing versus an investment opportunity?
I think a lot of Americans should look themselves in the mirror. We have a monopoly on every single sport. When you think about the best basketball league in the world, what do you think of?
The NBA.
The MNBA.
That's
the
true.
MNBA.
Baseball.
The MLB.
Football.
NFL.
Hockey.
NHL.
We have a monopoly on everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's time that we just got to look ourselves in the mirror and just say, this really isn't a crazy thing. It's happening right in front of our eyes. It's been for years.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like we just have to, like, we can enjoy sporting events because sports, like, we all love sports. We're all here because we love sports. But of course, sports are inherently political, and we have to question, why are these events happening here? Where's the money coming from? Who are the people profiting from these events? And we can enjoy the sports and criticize the people profiting off them at the same time and be
They are
critical
not
thinkers.
mutually exclusive.
Exactly, I agree.
I see the point being made. I appreciate you guys. Danny, Cam, thank you very much. We're going to move on to our next segment, a very exciting segment, our final segment. And it's a classic game of contenders or pretenders. This is how the game works. I will read the name of an NFL team, and one of the two competing talent will buzz in, having 30 seconds to give their case as to why that team is either a contender or a pretender. Now, here's the catch. No matter what, the talent who does not buzz in first has to debate the other side. So, good luck convincing yourself. With me to play the game is Zack Jewell and Titus Graves. How you guys feeling?
I'm prepared. I mean, you know, you got to expect the unexpected, so.
I'm ready. I think whatever Titus says, I can clearly beat him out in the debate.
Oh, okay. Some trash talk, some trash talk. Okay.
That's how we're starting?
All right. Now we're going to play dirty. All right. First team that we're going to list, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I got this. Let me lay it out for you. They're 4-2. Their defense have stepped up. Trevor Lawrence is going crazy right now. You got Brian Thompson Jr., who is an LSU alumni. We know how those LSU receivers are going. Trevor Lawrence is throwing dots out there.
He
You got
is.
Etienne Jr., the runner back, going crazy, going up yards, bulldozing in those guys out there. And then you also just got Travis Hunter just going crazy, ridiculous catch the other day.
Yep.
I just feel like their offense has leveled up, and I really think that the Jaguars really can be a playoff team and really could go crazy. I mean, they haven't really performed in the previous seasons, but I feel like this season is when they'll do good. Their defense did well. They're leading the league in lowest opponent passing rating yards and allowed, and that's awesome when you want a defense to do that. Just not allow no passes from their offensive side. Defense is standing up. They have a lot of veteran players. They also have a lot of players that's just ready to go crazy and just ready to tackle those offensive players. And I just think those Jaguars out there, they're only 4-2 right now. Week 6 is coming up. I think they'll really be a great team.
We're running back the Blake Bortles years, I hear.
Yeah.
All right, Zach?
I mean, I see what you're at. You know, I like their defense, but honestly, you're talking about a team that could make the playoffs, right? And you know, they have a weak division, so I don't hate that. But what I do hate is you saying they're a contender. I mean, we're talking about a team that has very little playoff experience outside of that Blake Bortles team. I mean, the same guys are not on that same team. And then we're looking at BTJ having a slow start. Yes, he had a good game last game. However, you can't take it away that he has been performing. Travis Hunter, clearly not a number 2 overall pick compared to how he's performing. We're talking about a team that could make the playoffs. But like I think they're a pretender. I don't think they could go far.
You're saying there's a difference between a maybe and a contender.
Agreed. I think that with a weak division, there's definitely a chance they make the playoffs. However, there's no chance that they win the Super Bowl.
All right, next team, the Indianapolis Colts.
I want to start that. I want to start that. I mean, we're talking about the Colts with 1 win over a 500 team or above, and that was a penalty versus the Broncos. Daniel Jones is playing phenomenal. I can't disagree.
He is.
I agree.
However, we've seen Daniel Jones have good stints. We've seen him revert back to his old self. We're seeing Jonathan Taylor average over 100 yards a game. That's not sustainable. The Colts defense is not going to sustain their level of interceptions, fumbles, all the stuff that's going on. Once they play tougher competition, it's over for them. They're not going to make the playoffs, and it's done.
They're not going to make the playoffs?
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Starting 5-1, I get it. You're the 1 seed right now.
How many teams, Zach, how many teams have started 5-1 and haven't made the playoffs? That's a crazy take.
It's a crazy take, but you'll come back to this episode and see.
I hope end of the season when we do hot take back that we'll play that clip because that is wild. Titus, I'm gonna go back to you. So you're gonna have to say that the Colts are a contender.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a contender. I mean, no one was expecting this out the Colts. I feel like everybody in this room, I feel like the people that were watching,
Not me.
no one was expecting it. Were you expecting it, Noah?
No, I was not expecting it. I'm a Danny Dimes. I was not a believer
Nah.
in Danny Dimes.
Yeah, so I just think it's crazy. And then you also just got to think, like, Tiana Taylor, like, that runner back is going off. I really think he could be a top 5 runner back in the league right now. I mean, some people could debate me however they want, but I definitely think the Colts can definitely make a good playoff run.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. We're gonna move on. This will be a contentious one, I think. The Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, okay.
I'll start with that. I mean, I think they're contenders with Lamar Jackson. I think that's kind of the whole thing. Everest is talking about John Harbaugh, seat being hot. I think they're not a pretender. However, 1-5 is going to be a little difficult. I'm going to put them at a contender. And the reason is because when you have a guy like Lamar Jackson, arguably the best quarterback in the league, top 3, 100%, when he comes back, I think he can lead that ship in the right direction. And I do truly think that when they make the playoffs, that's right, when they make the playoffs,
okay,
we're going to see Lamar Jackson go into full effect, make the AFC Championship game. Now,
the AFC Championship game?
Well, we've seen Lamar.
So the 5-1 Colts don't make the playoffs, but the Ravens are an AFC Championship team.
I truly do think that if Lamar can get healthy, steer that ship the right direction, then 100% we're looking at a good team.
All right, Titus.
Yeah, I don't even know what this man just said. I'm not going to lie. No, not at all. I mean, you're 1-5. I mean, when will Lamar come back? No one knows. And you just got to think, that 1-5 team, you got Derrick Henry that keeps fumbling the ball. You got Mark Andrews that cannot catch the ball. You got Zay Flowers that cannot catch the ball. And these are the weapons that Lamar has. And you just got to have those players to catch the ball. You got to have those defensive players that I know they've had injuries in, and hopefully they come back. Like, I know most of their injuries are Pro Bowlers right now. But you just need those people to depend on, and right now the Ravens are not having that this season.
All right, we got 3 teams left. We're halfway through. How you guys feeling?
Feeling okay.
I'm feeling good.
Who do you think's winning?
I'm feeling great.
You think you're winning though?
I think so. I think some of my takes been a little hot, but I think we're good.
He's taking an L.
Okay. We're gonna see. You guys both trashed on them earlier. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Whew. You know what? I got it. I mean, I know what I said about Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, but I did give him his props. Patrick Mahomes is going crazy. But if you really do think about it, like Everest said, they did beat the Lions. And if they come back, like, take this week.
You said the dynasty was over earlier.
I know what I said. But listen, they just got to take time to actually catch the ball and make plays and do not rely on Patrick Mahomes to just do what he has to do. I swear they'll be definitely a great team, but they just need those players to step up.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now, like I said, I'm going to stick with what I said earlier. I think the dynasty is over. I think that the Chargers and Broncos make the playoffs, and I don't think the Chiefs do. I do think the Chiefs are good. I think everyone agrees.
You don't think the Chiefs make the playoffs at all?
I think it's difficult for them as of now. I think it's going to be very difficult. If they do make the playoffs, obviously, we're going to see Patrick Mahomes be his Patrick Mahomes self. However, I think that there's a chance they miss the playoffs completely, and for that's why I'm going to say pretender.
A pretender. All right. We're at our final 2, the penultimate team, the Patriots.
Oh, I got it. All right. I got 4 words for you.
4 words.
Drake May.
That's 2.
Vrabel.
That's 3.
That's 1.
What?
Only said his name, Vrabel.
Right.
You're
but
right.
That's 3.
Get it right.
Drake
no.
May.
Get it right.
Vrabel is 3.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
What's the 4th?
Improvement.
Okay.
And that's what I like to see out these Patriots. They're number 1 in the AFC East Division. They're 4-2. And I just feel like those players have been phenomenal this season. I feel like Drake May's been going crazy. He's balling. Maybe an MVP candidate, kind of crazy. Maybe. But you got to think, like, he's getting patient in that pocket. People was crazy about, oh, my God, we got Will Campbell on our 1st-round pick. That offensive line is going crazy if y'all really think about it. Y'all got Drake May patiently waiting in that pocket to throw his dots out there, throwing his targets out there. You got Stephon Diggs, who's a veteran on that team and is relying and telling those players that they're doing phenomenal. And I know that defense is stepping it up in that red zone and that 3-and-out on defense.
You know, I want to say one thing. They have not beat a team with a winning record besides the Bills. I truly do think that that's impressive going into Buffalo, beating the Buffalo Bills. However, Drake May has not been tested yet. We haven't been able to see the Patriots play another great team besides the Bills. I want to see what happens down the line when we have to see Drake May in the playoffs, okay? And for that's why I'm going pretender. I don't think he can compete with the other AFC quarterbacks.
All right, we got one more team, and then we're going to wrap it up very quickly from one of you guys. I'm going to say limit it to a sentence each on this last one because I think it's going to be fun. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'll go.
Okay, one sentence.
One sentence. 25th best defense in the league and 28th best offense in the league.
All right, Titus, your sentence. And remember, you don't have to count how many words it is.
You're right, but I could count how many seasons Aaron Rodgers is on. And all I have to say is I think Mike Tomlin, you got it this year.
Okay, and that's it. Thank you. That is it for the Season 20 premiere of The Box Score. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at EIVBoxScore and TikTok at theboxscore.eiv. Until next time, I'm your host, Noah Berkowitz. Good night.